Video 2 here in the Polar Training Plan. So we've looked at how long it can take to prepare and train for an expedition of the scale of the South Pole or Greenland or Svalbard. What we want to look at now is the individual and what they bring to the party, which is incredibly important for people that I work with. Not only does there have to be a real deep driven desire to succeed, but you also have this ability to problem solve. And what I mean by this, for a perfect example, is Mornay Isbeth, who's just become the first American female to ski solo to the South Pole unsupported. Very, very early on in our working together, she couldn't find, living in Nepal, she couldn't find a tyre that was actually heavy enough that she could actually use. And she was getting a bit worked up about it, and I got these messages coming through. And then literally within minutes, I get another message, and this tyre is full of filled water bottles and rocks and different things to weigh the tyre down. Now, straight away in my mind, given the other people that I've worked with in the past, this is a person that's going to succeed. They're not going to allow an obstruction to come and actually halt their progress. They're actually going to find a way to actually move beyond that. Now, we all have busy lives and other things going on, but you have to realize that expeditions of this scale need the time and the commitment and the focus. So you need to give yourself a real strong reality check and think, can I actually apply myself to this expedition? You know, it's not always necessarily life or death with these polar expeditions, but it's pretty brutal, and there can be frostbite, limbs damaged, polar thaw. You can fall into crevasses. There can be death, worst case scenario. So you've actually got to be able to lock into that process. And that's a mind game. That's not a physical side. You can't muscle that out. You have to be able to have the mindset to be able to deal with adaptability, flexibility, to actually then push on. So what I would call true resilience isn't muscular strength. It's about the ability to adapt and problem solve. So yeah, I look for these kind of things very early on with people I'm working with. I can tell quite quickly whether or not somebody's going to make it or not make it. So ask yourself, have you got that ability to problem solve and make sure that training happens? Even amongst your busy life, there's always a way to make it happen. And trust me, I've worked with so many people across so many different platforms of employment and life stresses that there's always a way.